Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. Today is Christmas Day for me and the day after Christmas for you, or the night after Christmas. This video will go up on Friday night and at 9 o'clock, and then no video Saturday, and then Sunday morning will be the next video. The new schedule is, I think, working out well for everybody involved. There's not really much news. And, I want to show you some TPUSK something and a little bit of Don Lemon. And then I don't know, tomorrow I'll probably make most of this video tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But this is this pie-faced lesbian dude.
You might have seen CBS promoting a...
Saturday Night Live, they were doing a thing on MSNBC. And they say, let's go to Rachel Maddow. And then they went to Chris Hayes, basically saying he looked like a pie-faced lesbian. That was their joke. Which is, they don't really tell good jokes. That's Saturday Night Live, but that is a funny one.
Story set to air on 60 Minutes on Sunday about the Trump administration sending hundreds of Venezuelan migrants to a notorious gulag in El Salvador called CICA.
Where they told 60 Minutes they endured 4 months of hell.
Did you think you were going to die there?
Oh, my God. Look at how caring this woman is. Look at this reporting. Look at her shake her head no.
Think you were going to die there?
Boom. It's kind of a dude.
We thought we were already the living dead, honestly.
Now, if you saw that teaser, you may have thought, wow, the new head of CBS News, installed by Trump's billionaire crony, is running a story about Trump sending people to a prison where they report being tortured. Of course, the story was pulled at the last minute. The head of CBS News gave the excuse that she wanted the White House to give their reasons for shipping people to CCON. Now, all this came days after Donald Trump raged at 60 Minutes for letting Marjorie Taylor Greene criticize him. John Gans has been writing about the 60 Minutes episode on his excellent Substack, Unpopular Front, and Aswin Subsang.
Okay, so, I showed you this already. The Barry Weiss move, Trump was the greatest friend in the White House that Israel's ever had. And Barry Weiss is an Israeli shill. So this stuff, you weren't able to say this before. You weren't able to say that pro-Israeli forces, Zionists, controlled the media, right? And now Benjamin Netanyahu came out and said, well, we have to have one of our billionaires buy TikTok and censor people. We know we got Elon playing ball with us. And he was saying this to a room full of people. He was paying social media influencers, young social media influencers, he was paying to promote an Israeli agenda. And so it doesn't matter. There's a point where and I say this all the time about the so-called controllers, that money, you can throw fucking money at something and you can throw whatever it is at it, indoctrination type bullshit, and it doesn't work. You can repeat shit over and over again. There's a point where people just see something and it just, goes through the collective consciousness and it goes, fuck you. It's no matter what you do, And so these media outlets aren't talking about Barry Weiss censoring stuff against Israel because they won't, like MS Now and CNN and the rest. But they will, talk about Donald Trump and Barry Weiss, and, the two things go hand in hand. Anyways.
ProPublica published quite a scoop about Trump DHS Secretary Kristi Noem that in any other era, I should say, would be a career-ending scandal. But to understand the pattern of corruption of this woman, we just have to...
Wait, I forgot how bad Jen Psaki sucks. My wife we were walking around, she goes, it's Jen Psaki, right? And I said, I do now. No, I hear her say her name all the time. But, it's spelled Psaki.
Zoom out just a little bit, just for a moment. Because since Noem took over DHS at the beginning of the year, she's become known for appearing to be more obsessed with putting on various costumes than doing her actual job. She donned a bulletproof vest just to talk to her own agents. She wore a Customs and Border Patrol uniform on Fox News.
Is that a UPS? Is she a UPS driver? Does she carrier packages with those fake lips. Tell it like it is, Psaki.
And of course, she is constantly, and I mean constantly, throwing on a cowboy hat and riding horses, always with plenty of cameras around to capture the moment. But Noam's apparent obsession with image actually goes much further than just putting on costumes, because she has directed more than 200 million taxpayer dollars into TV ads to promote her work at DHS. And just to put it in context, that is nearly twice what DHS spent on ads altogether in all of last year. And the content of those ads have already been a scandal kind of in and of themselves.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border.
And if you were wondering who...
All right, so I saw Kristi Noem ad. Let me see if I can find it. She doesn't have it here. I thought she might have it here. I'll find this ad. I think I saw it on TV, I don't know, somewhere. Well, maybe on YouTube, I don't know. I must have seen this on Fox News because it's on Fox News or something here. Wherever this is.
Announcing a new incentive. What is that announcement, Madam Secretary?
Well, it's home for the holidays season, so not only are we returning those kiddos back to their families that
the kiddos
Biden lost, we also are saying that if you voluntarily want to go home now to your country, if you're in this United States of America illegally,
if you're in this in the United States of America illegally,
we will give you $3,000 through the holidays to send you home.
And you're announcing a new incentive.
Okay, it went on longer than that. But, they're going to give you $3,000. Now, first of all, who's watching this, right? I don't know what news program this is, but who's watching this, right? That legal alien who doesn't speak English and realizing they're going to get $3,000. They're going to put him on a plane, send him home, give him $3,000. And maybe they can come back sometime in this United States of America. I mean, that's your money. Your taxpayer money, right? We'll give you $3,000 if you just leave. So is it costing $3,000 a person to deport people, and it's cheaper just to pay them? Like, what the fuck is going on here, right? The border issue is way overblown by the right. It has been for a long time. Let's go see her face again here. And, she's such a dope. Like, Trump has just put in all these dopes. I mean, just like, they're all retarded. Wicked retarded. So, all right. That's Kristi Noem. I mean, the border isn't like a real issue. I mean, there's people coming in, but those people either are going to get jobs or they're not. Like, there's either work for them or there isn't. And usually the work that they're going to do is work that Americans won't do, American citizens won't do. I've said this like over and over again. And so Trump has made this into a huge issue and scared the shit out of the people on the right. And he's using it to invoke martial law and bring troops onto the streets. And, and people on the right should be very wary of that, but they're not, because they're like dumb fucks, and this is where we live in. It's when they can, the same thing that happened with COVID and the Democrats. Like, for years, alternative medicine was so huge with the liberals. Like, if you went into any alternative medicine store, some of these, like, not even just like Whole Foods, but like, like little co-ops and, places that just have like, alternative medicine type stuff, like the whole store, wellness centers. It's liberals that are the majority of the customers, the customer base. They market to liberals, and liberals were, brought in herbal medicine, organic foods, and all these things. And then they took a position to get the fucking vax that Trump put out. I mean, bizarrely, and follow all these right-wing, left-wing, mainstream media allopathic medical protocols. And it was bizarre. Like, you're the guys who are into healthy organic foods, right? And, they just reversed themselves over their political leanings, and they sold them. And then the whole thing that happened with RFK Jr. and the liberals were all going nuts over him. And, and they're the ones that agree with him. And he was always a very liberal Democrat. Like, he was never a Republican. And so it's just, like, bizarre. I hear a rooster outside. I hope it's down the road. Oh, unless it's one of our chickens. Our chickens are old enough, like I'm trying to listen to it. Anyway, so, the same thing happened with, the civil liberties and martial law that the Republicans have always been big on. And they're allowing Trump, they're pushing this idea, and they're eating it up, right? Like it's some fuckistan out there. Like it's just, there's, it's the idea that America can be saved, but then why should it be? Like, all the dumb fucks, like all the people who are just, they don't stand for anything and they can be totally manipulated and like what is there? Let's go to Don Lemon's here. Here, I want to show her channel here first. All right, we're going to go to her channel second. I'm editing. I just want to qualify, I guess it would be, when I say dumb fucks, because I'm not talking about what people are born with. Like everyone has a level of intelligence, and then you can train your mind, and you can actually expand your consciousness. You can reach up, and you can become smarter. You can, not just by spirituality, but by, just a desire or a willful effort to expand your understanding of not just your consciousness, but your understanding of life, whatever it might be. But what I'm talking about is when it's so obvious that Trump is a piece of shit, but people willfully ignore all the signs so they can get fucked over by that guy, or whatever it is. Everything's happening to TPUSK and the rest of it. The people who refuse to see what's so obvious to everyone else because of, just willful stupidity, right? Willful sticking your head in the sand and just not wanting to see the truth. Pushing back against the truth, right? Because of some emotional bullshit or whatever it is that's going on internally to you. And so that's what I mean by dumb fucks. Like, you could see, they have the ability to see it. Like, if they don't have the ability to see it, like, you wouldn't call a dog a dumb fuck because he doesn't understand what you're talking about, right? I mean, some dogs do stupid shit, but when they do have the ability to understand you or do have the ability to figure something out, and they willfully just choose stupidity, right? Choose, obliviousness, that's a dumb fuck. That's what I mean by dumb fucks. So here she is. This is her channel here, right? Governor Kristi Noem. These videos from like a year ago. Here she is with a hard hat. Here she is, here. 33 and 65. Let's just look at some of our videos here. We'll go through them. And there's one here where she's got a, I don't know what it is. Maybe I didn't see it. But she likes to put on these. Here she is wearing a nurse's outfit. She's like this, Barbie that dresses up, likes to dress up in these various outfits. Right? Like, this is her thing.
South Dakota has the blueprint for success. Recently, we led the nation in new home building, but we're still growing.
Wait, who's behind this? Who's behind these building plans?
So fast.
Oh, it's that whore. Wearing a hard hat.
We need to hire more builders to keep up. So I'm pitching in. South Dakota is the freest state in the nation. We have no state income tax, and we offer apprenticeship training, so you can get right to work.
South Dakota.
Yeah, there she goes. Why would you hit the thing like that? Look, like, why would you hit it?
To work.
Why would you hit it like that? Why would anybody do that? And why would they have a bunch of 2x4s standing up like this? Like it's like retarded. Like just, And so she does these outfit things here.
South Dakota is the freest state in America.
It's pretty free over there in South Dakota.
Now we're making it the safest by...
Okay, so nothing says freedom like a cop pulling over. Nothing speaks to freedom like somebody getting harassed by a prostitute cop.
Putting more police on our streets.
Hey, it's me.
So I'm on the road until we can hire more.
Well, you're doing all of it, right? You're a builder. You're dressing up as a cop.
We respect law enforcement because they protect our freedoms. We have no state income tax and the fastest growing incomes.
Sir, are you aware you were driving 33 in a 65?
Governor Noem, it's me, Dusty Johnson. I'm a congressman.
It's Dusty Johnson. It's me, Dusty Johnson. You don't know who it is?
I'm a congressman.
politicians.
Politicians? Those guys. Who the fuck are politicians? What are you driving so slow for, you little pussy? All right. And why would she be on that side of the why would she be on the passenger side? Right? And so, this is a fucking, and she's nowhere near as bad as Linda McMahon in terms of she's actually was a governor for a bit. I mean, at least in 35 and a 65 is the name of this thing. And why 33? Why number 33? Why was he driving 33 miles an hour, Christy?
Let's get some help in here. Stat. We've got close to 20,000 open jobs in South Dakota, including for nurses. So I'm helping out until we...
She's helping out. She does everything. I mean, she's a builder, she's a cop, she's a nurse. She dresses up.
We fill them. South Dakota is the freest state in the nation. We work hard, but we don't pay any state income tax.
Boom.
So you get to keep more of your own money.
More of your own money.
That should get your heart racing.
Exactly. Just like fucking, this guy's fucking dying here. Can I get a real nurse? This horse seems to be pushing me. And so this is like Dumfuckistan. Let's go. Okay, I'm editing, so we'll go to the Don Lemon things in a second. But this is like the Village People for Dumfuckistan people, right? She started doing this, and there's more than just these. She's playing dress up, she's pretending she's doing all these jobs, and then she figured, this worked for this ad campaign, or felt like it worked, and then she ends up doing the exact same thing and dressing up in all these costumes for when she's in charge of a federal position in charge of immigration, the borders, and these things, right? Posing, playing dress up Barbie and all these, this hoe here, and so it's like the Village People for dumb fucks. Lemon drop. The DOJ is full of shit. This is Don Lemon's title of his video.
We're live with the Lemon Cohen Report. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, getting ready for the holidays, the old Chris Mahana Kwanzaa.
Chris Mahana Kwanzaa. Boy, look at him. Look at him laugh at that. This guy used to be Trump's fixer, right? So he did Trump work. We went to jail for it. He did Trump's dirty work for 30 years. But now he's on regularly celebrated where he and Don have a Lemon Cohen drop.
And the happy and healthy new year. I'm looking forward to it all. In fact,
I'm looking forward to it all.
We all.
I
don't just mean you and me. I'm talking about all of those that subscribe to the Don Lemon Show, the Michael Cohen Show, the Lemon Cohen Report. Everybody deserves a healthy, a happy, and a safe new year because every day we're being put through a torturous event.
Yeah, the Trump administration. We all deserve a holiday from Trump. That's why we're out here putting out content the day before Christmas.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Because as we are live now, just a couple of hours ago, there was this drop this morning with the Epstein files. And we can go back and talk about what they did this weekend or did not do throughout the week. But, everyone's like, well, he's in the files. He's mentioned hundreds of more times in the file. And, New York Times did a big takeout on it, as did others. And, oh, my gosh, he's on the plane. He said that he wasn't, whatever. So what do you make of that?
Okay, so this convicted felon was Trump's fixer during the Epstein years when Trump hung out with Epstein. But he was Trump's lawyer, and so he can't legally and professionally talk about any of this stuff, but I think he talks about it all the time, which shows you how bullshit this is. Trump is one of the most litigious people, and he wouldn't let his former lawyer fucking violate attorney-client privileges, right? But he would be around. He would know all this stuff, like if he,
We've already known that Trump was on the aircraft. We see it in the flight logs from way before. What this recent dump has exposed is that he was on the, we'll call it Lolita Express.
Yes, we'll just call it that because we'll coin a phrase here because it was like the book Lolita, and it was like Jeffrey Epstein's like doing the Lolita-like things on that airplane.
And he was on there more than they realized.
Amen to that.
And they let on.
Amen.
That he flew on it more times with Epstein than what was initially reported. I believe it's like 8 more flights.
8 more flights on the Lolita Express.
So everybody is now automatically, and I just have, because I'm having Aaron Parnas on my Mea Culpa podcast for this Friday, and I started talking to him in advance of the recording regarding this drop. And he and I ascribe to the same belief that all of this is just contextual. We need the file to be released so that we could place the context with the photos. We can place
it. We need all of it so we can do it. All right. I just don't feel like doing this on Christmas Day. But, this is Dumfuckistan here, this guy, right? We got to go with something. Let's see if there's something from Don alone. This guy's just fucking abhorrent. But he knows all the stuff. Like, he would be fixed. He would be, like, fucking burying bodies and shit, right? He was paying off fucking porn stars. He would know all the stuff to do with Epstein and Trump. He doesn't need the fucking files. Like, right? There's shit he knows that isn't in the files. There's stuff that he would have seen. This is the guy that Trump was saying, clean up this mess, clean up that mess, right? He was a fixer. This is called Don Lemon Show, a Lemon Nation holiday hangout.
Welcome to the program, everyone. Support for the show comes from
Z-Biotics, so you can get drunk.
Happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve. How are you?
Look at her laugh. Oh, my God, so funny. Wow. When you said Merry Christmas, I'm like, boy, that is so fucking funny. Hey, Merry Christmas, man.
I'm fantastic.
I'm fantastic.
Awesome, dude.
What is this, TPUSK here?
Rick and I, 2 of these things are like the other, and 2 of these things are like the other. I mean, you guys are wearing a light shirt and glasses. Rick and I are wearing dark shirt and Santa hat.
No way. It's like 2 of the things. These guys got glasses on, and we got Christmas hats and glasses on. And dark shirts and white shirts.
So we're all featuring eyewear.
It's roughly the temperature of a volcano, but I'm not hating that right now.
Isn't Rick? You notice that these hats are so freaking hot.
They're so hot. The fucking polyester and the fake fur and the little ball on the end of them. They're so fucking hot. These hats.
What is wrong? What are they made of? What is
polyester?
Unbreathable.
Whatever it is, it's flammable. So
it's flammable.
It's not cotton.
Don't go near a can.
It's not cotton. It's crazy. You're wearing a non-cotton hat that looks like cotton, Don.
Wait, let's see what it's made of.
Polyester.
Yeah.
It doesn't say because it's so hot it melted the whatever. It's probably polyester. And
yeah, it's probably polyester. Fucking Jesus Christ. We could have avoided this thing if you guys would listen to me. You don't fucking listen to me because you're dumb fucks. And you got a dumb fuck audience. You're wearing polyester. It's 100% polyester.
Polyurethane.
God knows. Polyvinyl chloride. I don't know.
And who knows what it is.
And if it's not made in the U.S., I'm surprised it actually made it through with the tariffs. So there we go.
Exactly. This is a tariff hat.
There it is, Don. It's made of joy.
It is made of joy.
Oh, I got it. So I'm not the one that I'm wearing, but the one I'm going to show you. Mm-hmm. Fiber content, 100% polyester.
It is crazy. I mean, you guys could have just fucking listened to me. It's 100% polyester. Like, I can look at shit and I know what it's made of because fucking almost all of it's polyester, right? Fucking.
No real fur exists in this product. It's faux fur only. Color.
Wait, that's not real fur? That's not real polar bear fur?
May be bleached when wet. Do not wash or dry clean. Made in guess where?
Who was
China. It's made in China.
Was somebody wondering if that was really real fur? Because I don't really think that was a concern, was it?
They have some of them that are.
Oh, they do?
This is, okay, since we're on the...
There's some of them that people buy those fucking hats with real fur on them.
On Christmas Eve, and we're on the hats. This is my favorite. We got a couple years ago.
Put it back on.
And I got these, and look.
Look, that's this polyester hat, right? But they're still wearing it, right? Like, polyester is fucking bad for you. and they're still wearing it. Like they know, like they kind of have a sense of it, but they don't give a shit because they're dumb fucks and they have a dumb fuck audience.
Look at mine.
Oh, nice. It's an actual full-up Santa.
And look.
Oh my God, he's
Santa's black, and he
is he, Don? We saw you got a black Santa hat, Don. Congratulations, you've made it. We've achieved equality. This fictional character now is. It's like, what's Santa's real color? You know, it's not enough to have a black Jesus. You also have a black Santa. I mean, Jesus was certainly not white. Because where he lived, he would be brown or, dark skinned, whatever. It just, that's what the color people were 2,000 years ago in Jerusalem. But Saint Nick is from maybe, I don't know, maybe he is maybe it was Turkey. Maybe Santa originally came from Turkey, so he might be brown as well. Santa might not even be white, right?
He has a white one.
Wait, you got so happy about let's go back.
It's an actual full-up Santa.
And look.
Oh my God, he's
Santa's black, and he has a white one.
Wait, wait. I have to tell you guys a funny story.
Don't show this to you know who.
When I was really little,
there are a lot of people. There was a whole conference I would love to show that to. Recently.
Oh yes.
When I was really little, I went to the Cayman Islands.
Okay, she's trying to talk here, Don, and you're like making jokes that no one's laughing at.
It's when I was like 7 years old for Christmas. I went with my mom and my dad and my brother. I was little, and I went and we stayed at a beautiful place in the Cayman Islands for Christmas, and they had a Santa Claus. And the Santa Claus, my parents were like, why don't you go tell Santa Claus what you want for Christmas? And so I went up to the Santa Claus and I said, you're not Santa Claus. And he's like, why not? I said, because you don't look like Santa Claus. Why? Because he was a black Santa Claus.
No, whoa, the scandalous. Oh my God, look at them. Mouths are open, mouths are agape. No, wait, you were in the Cayman Islands and they couldn't produce a white Santa for you?
Think about that. So, and by the way,
think about the indoctrination and the racism that I couldn't believe that Santa Claus could be black.
Ever think that I'm like a racist. What I'm trying to say is this. It's amazing, though, what you don't get exposed to when you're growing up as a child.
I mean, you were suffering so much celebrating Christmas in the fucking Cayman Islands, Katie Fang.
So that's why I like your hat, Dawn, because it shows a variety of the potential of what Santa Claus could look like.
Exactly. We just need a black Santa. We need a multiracial Santa, because this imaginary fucking figure that's this anagram for Satan who climbs down your chimney if you have one and eats your cookies and drops some fucking plastic polyurethane presents for your kids.
Santa Claus can be black, brown, white.
Whatever,
exactly. Like, or you can find out what Saint Nick actually was in terms of his color, and they could do an actual the guy. The story was, I read it, like he would go around to people who were poor and go in their house and leave them money and shit. Like, he was, I don't know how he was getting money. Maybe he was a really rich. Maybe he inherited a bunch of money, and he was a saint. And he didn't need the money, and he'd find needy people, and he'd sneak in their house and drop money there because he didn't want to embarrass them. And then that became his, he was just giving away money. It was like a nice thing, right? Some guy who gets a lot of money. It was like a village, and he'd go around. I read this thing, I think, last year. It might have been in Turkey, where he originally came from, so he would have been brown, the people in Turkey, not black or white, but somewhere in the middle. But either way, it's not a real thing. When there's no Christmas, there was no snow there. It's Turkey. It's a warmer place. Wherever it was, somewhere around there, like somewhere, like Western Europe, Southern Europe area.
It's whatever.
Middle Eastern area, maybe.
Where it is, but
he's just efficient. That's his thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about race. It's about
extremely efficient.
He keeps on doing his ho 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 bit. Nobody's been talking.
And he knows how to run a workforce.
He really does.
He knows. Yeah.
You mean a sweatshop with little fucking elves? You mean Santa's fucking Satan and Anna's Graham's little sweatshop in the North Pole.
He knows how to slay.
If we could just get
no AI.
All right, enough of these guys. So this is, I don't know how many people watch this, but there's people who do. Like, there's people who watch fucking Kristi Noem and these things, and you say that America should be saved. Like, you think there's a, and there's people who just don't even understand this stuff. Like, they just watch fucking mainstream media and the news. They sit there and fucking gobble it up and just believe whatever's being told. And there's just a lot. There's people who don't know anything about anything. They're just disconnected from, anything real. They follow Taylor Swift around the country, whatever it might be, or they just, they watch like even more remedial content. Like, it's dumb fuck. We live in dumb fuckistan. Like, this is America's really dumb fuckistan, and it's getting dumber. Like, I say this all the time, things are either getting better or they're getting worse. People are either getting better or they're getting worse. Like, we're either evolving or we're de-evolving. Like, that's how it goes. There's no stagnant position. And we're getting stupider. It's idiocracy. We're de-evolving. We're getting less moral. And we're like a mess socially and just, consciously and all these things on the left and the right. And so, like, why would you save this country? Like, it's going in the wrong fucking direction. Like, why would you save the system? It's hurting us. It's making us into worse people. Like we're zoo animals, right? So X recommended a tweet from Milo Yiannopoulos, and I'm not sure why, other than I might have searched. I covered when he was saying that everyone in the Republican Party, all these pundits were gay on the Tim Pool show. Other than that, I have no idea why they recommended this tweet, but it's, it's worth covering here. So I'll read his tweet in a second. He was slamming Alex Jones's tweet here. And from that, he had some kind of tweet about Alex Jones and whatever that woman's name. She's horrible. I'll think of it in a moment. And so from that, well, I could probably look it up on Twitter. I now know how to. My wife and I, we're talking about how you get these things recommended and then they disappear, but there's actually a place where they keep them all. And we just discovered it. And so Milo Yiannopoulos said, I had your back from dusk till dawn on Sandy Hook, but if you are taking marching orders from Laura Loomer, as she claims, I'm afraid it's time to retire Alex Jones was right merch, as if aggressively propping up Nick wasn't bad enough. Do you need an intervention? So he then posted this. So this is the bullshit war that goes on, in dumb fuckistan, right? Alex Jones always been a piece of shit shill. Like, yeah, he could be right about some things because he's not, he's opposing some of the mainstream media narratives, but he's a complete shill. He's always been wrong on Israel, disinformation agent, and he's really, taken the truth community in the wrong direction for years. And then he's like kind of just a joke now. It's all coming out, and Candace Owens doesn't care that she has accused a bunch of innocent people with ironclad alibis of being in a conspiracy against Charlie Kirk's life. You don't have an ironclad alibi against a conspiracy, right? For a crime, you have an alibi. A conspiracy can happen for years, and So what he's saying is that these people have an alibi for every second, every moment, every second, for the whole span of the conspiracy. So if this conspiracy happened over a 2-year period, these guys have an alibi for that whole 2-year period. Like everything that, they did, there was no chance of them talking with other people and conspiring to be a part of this. It's just really stupid. And this is weird from Alex Jones, who's just been a complete, Candace Owens is following the Alex Jones playbook of having a document cam and pretending she has all this information. And these two guys here, these two shills, I don't know who they are, but they look, breaking Green Beret, Valahana, it gives them credibility that he's been in the military, right? Breaking Green Beret, whoever that is, says he has uncovered that Candace Owens' latest witness, Mitch Snow, is allegedly a serial woman abuser and con artist who fabricated his story. Candace encouraged her audience to raise $138,000 of give, send, go for him. So you know, any of this stuff can be true, right? And none of it could be, like, because, or there could be partial truths. I mean, those are the options. But it's just a bunch of fucking grifters all out there throwing shit up against the wall to a dumb fuckistan audience, right? And so Candace Owens a grifter. I'm sure this guy Mitch Snow, whatever he is, actors, grifters, crisis actors. Alex Jones is a piece of shit shill. This person, whoever it is, this former Green Beret, right? You were even in the military, this kind of stuff. Like, they're all a bunch of fucking grifters out there, and they're lying to their audience, right? And their audience is lapping it up because they're dumb fucks. And this is America. All right, with that, let's go to TPUSK. MAGA base sends a clear message to President Trump. Well, that's something new, so we should take a look at that. Because these guys are clueless, because MAGA base has sent a clear message to you fucking twinks, right? Discussing the most talked about moments of the weekend. Breaking down the true state of the economy. But here's the one I wanted to... Nicki Minaj calls out anti-white racism. Everything we know about Bill Clinton and the Epstein files. Setting the record straight on Trump 2.0's Venezuela drug boat strikes. And then they have Fetterman. I showed you that thing the other day. But this Bill Clinton Epstein files, again, 8,000 views. I mean, nobody cares about Bill Clinton, even the people on the right. Like, nobody wants a big investigation of Bill Clinton. Hillary maybe, slightly. But they're fucking old and worthless and decrepit, and, they're not, their days are behind them, right? Nobody gives a shit about that. That's like fucking 8 years ago that people would have cared about that. When Trump clearly was best buddies with Epstein, we know, and so, but these guys are pitching all this stuff out here. The Nicki Minaj stuff, watch a little bit of that. But, the MAGA base is sending a clear message to everybody about the whole, like, you're not making America great again. I mean, whatever extent they're, again, this is a lot of dumb fucks here. Like, this is still dumb fuckistan. But these guys, like, if this guy's wearing his fucking Christmas sweater, these twinks are wearing. All right, let's get into it here.
Charlie taught us that strong communities are built through mutual understanding. TikTok believes in those same values.
Holy shit. They're running TikTok. TikTok believes in those same values? You mean TikTok that's now being purchased by Israeli...
where people can share what they know and invite others to join in the conversation, like a father sharing his meaningful life advice with the world, or a teacher explaining math in ways that make it click. Someone sharing their favorite books with millions of others. Different worlds connected by curiosity. Because learning doesn't belong to one person or one classroom. It belongs to everyone willing to listen and share.
Exactly. TikTok's running ads on this piece of shit content here.
We're starting off with Jack Posobiec, host of Human Events Daily.
Posobiec. They got fucking Posobiec. Don't think they didn't get Jack Posobiec.
Talk Epstein. Because with all the craziness around AmFest and just kind of processing AmFest and our straw poll.
Where's the Twink sweater? Where's Twink 1 and Twink 2? The Twink 2's got a sweater. But
we have not, I personally, I have not had a chance to really dive in. So Jack's going to be our expert on that and kind of give us the updates on that. I saw that there's a third tranche of files from the DOJ following the passage of that law. Then we're going to have Sean Davis. He's going to talk about the family business that...
going back to this Alex Jones thing, I want to say this. Alex Jones, if somebody who was a truther was accused of being a wife abuser, like Alex Jones was, Alex Jones had this messy divorce, and his ex-wife has gone on multiple interviews. In fact, that's the only thing you could find on YouTube for a while. No videos of Alex, just his wife trashing him. And Alex Jones' lawyer in the divorce said he's a performance artist. Like, straight up. He's like, this is about the kids in custody and all these things. And that a lot of things that he says and does are just performance art. And so that was legally put in there as from his own, legal team. And so, but anytime he was or anybody who is on his side, the same thing with any of these guys like Milo claiming his rumors were bullshit. And, Russell Brand being accused of these things, and those fucking, whatever that dope is, Andrew Taint, all those guys, they're all accused of these things. And they say, well, they're just trying to get us. And that might be the case. It might not, right? But, he was on Candace's side for a little bit. Alex was. Alex Jones has always been owned by Israel. But then all of a sudden he wasn't, and now, like, these guys' accusations about this guy, fucking Mitch Snow, right? I mean, the fact the guy's name is Mitch Snow. The whole thing, right? It's just a fucking mess, and they're all liars. There's no truth there. There's just people coming up with bullshit and smearing it all over the place.
Was on full display at AmFest. And then we've got Stephen Moore, who's going to talk about economics and the great GDP news that came out this morning. And then we're going to finish with Batya Ungar-Sargon. She's now a...
Okay, let's get to the Bill Clinton there.
And so, that being said, what we do actually have, I'm just going to say it, these photos that are released are absolutely disgusting. They make me sick to my stomach looking at some of these. I talked about this on Newsmax last night, that when there have been a lot of people, so there's been this narrative that, like, okay, Epstein maybe wasn't involved in, like, really bad stuff and maybe it's all just overblown. No, it's actually disgusting. And there's a lot of photos. It just has to be said, truthfully, there are a lot of photos of him with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton in a hot...
Yeah, because they released all these things because Trump wants to make it about Bill Clinton. And make no mistake about it, Bill Clinton was a piece of shit scumbag. And he was completely Epsteined up. But Trump even more so. Trump said he liked young women. Like, fucking be honest. This is the problem with all these people. Because they're subjective in their critique of whatever's going on. People have a side. And like Tucker Carlson, I'm not gonna go after my friends. Like the Pillsbury Doughboy, right? Then they're subjective and they won't go after the people that are on their team and on their side, but they'll go after the other side really hard. And it's like, fucking no, like that's not truth, right? Like, this is just fucking tell the truth. Like, just fucking tell the truth, right? These people, none of them are going to jail. Like, so there's going to be no consequences. Trump's a piece of shit who fucking was pals with Epstein for fucking years. And he said that he liked him young, and Trump's got his own behavior that with women that's inappropriate. His weird attraction to his own daughter that he bragged about on The View and other places, and all the other stuff that he had. Like, there's pictures of Trump with his own daughter like this. And this guy, these pictures are disgusting. Just going along with this, right? And so, the Trump Make America Great Again train has left the fucking station. It's done. And Trump is, showing what he is as a piece of shit, and you guys are showing what you are as a piece of shit, and you're still pushing out that fucking, pro-Israeli agenda, and nobody's watching. The people who are watching are slamming you, right? And so, like, this is it's an absolute farce, right? So this is the Twinks, day before, without the Christmas sweater. The low testosterone, what I call them, the two beta males sharing 1 testicle. But now with the Twinks.
The president called in.
It's evolving. It's a fluid situation here. It's evolving.
When Don Jr. was on stage, and that was a really special moment. But we had even more surprises in store, and that, of course, was Nicki Minaj. Some people might...
Look at them going hand in hand here.
Kind of scratch their head a little bit and go like, oh, Nicki, why would she be invited to something like this? Well, I'll tell you why, because Nicki Minaj has shown a lot of courage, actually. She's lived a life that I'm not here to endorse. Or...
You mean she lives a life but she's shown a lot of courage by tweeting, right? She's shown so much courage by tweeting.
Or say is the model for young women. But she showed a lot of courage, and more recently she's been speaking out and advocating for the persecuted church in Nigeria and helping get even the U.S. government to take action on our brothers and sisters in Christ that are suffering devastating losses, devastating attacks, and murder. It's persecution in the truest sense of the word. And so, I was honored that she agreed to come on stage. And what I was struck by, Blake, and I'd be curious to get your thoughts on this.
Blake, tell me about your thoughts, Blake.
Is a huge rap fan that you are.
You're a real rapper. He's a rap fan. He likes twink rap. There's a twink rap out there?
That was a joke in case people are
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah. The
I
radio
would say
viewers can't see my grimace right now.
They can't see my grimace. I often grimace. Insert your joke about him being a power bottom or what is the opposite of a power bottom? A bottom?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm definitely not a rap fan either, I have to say. But, I do appreciate somebody in her position that's willing to have the courage to speak out and advocate for things that are unpopular in her position to advocate.
Just the courage.
Crowds all around the world. And no matter how many songs I do on that stage, it didn't mean as much as this. Because this is a direct link for younger people. This is a direct link between young people and God.
Yeah, it's not. It's fucking so not.
That was a good one, and let's
so this one here.
See, how about let's go into 124.
Let's go to 124. The Twink says. The Twink has spoken.
Why now have you?
Why is his microphone so much bigger than his? Like this is.
So why now have you been involved with speaking about politics? What was kind of the turning point for you? Yeah.
Well,
what was the turning point? I just got tired of being pushed around. Sometimes you just get tired of it, and then you realize, wait a minute, I have something inside of me that's stronger than what's out there. That's right. So when you've had enough, you realize, wait a minute, why do I even care about these people and what they think? Who are they? They don't
who's the they, them?
Even know who they are. So I'm not going to back down anymore. I'm not going to back down ever again.
Amen.
Woo! All right, so the Twinks. One more thing here, then I'm going to read the comments. And the comments are all bad to these videos. So TikTok is running ads here. And, I don't know if it's happened yet. I don't know what's going on with TikTok. I very seldom, I'm not aware of it. But the last thing I heard about it was, as I mentioned earlier in this video, Bibi Netanyahu said that he wanted a Zionist billionaire to buy TikTok so they could censor it, right? And if that's happened, that would make sense that they were advertising, throwing TPUSK some money for videos that aren't being watched, and the people who are watching them are like, fuck you guys suck. Which the first two videos had negative comments. I didn't look at these comments yet, but I'm going to read the comments because it's always funny and it's very telling. And they're always been in dumb fuckistan. Charlie Kirk was never appealing to smart people. And so the dumb fucks are turning on him. like how bad does your content have to be that the dumb fucks turn on you, right?
The day after AmFest 2025 in Phoenix, Arizona, 31,000 Patriots strong. And we have the most
Patriots
responded to, youngest by way of average age of the respondent, straw poll that we are unpacking with big data poll, Rich Barris, the pollster that conducted the poll on our behalf. And this one, Rich, I think, I'm just going to say it. Backstage, I had a conversation with a very important person that we're mapping out 2026 in the midterms. And I'm telling you, you've got this issue of base fatigue or maybe lack of enthusiasm, whatever it is. We saw this with some of the special elections. We struggle in off years. The question is, how do you get people energetic? And I looked at the early results on this question, this next one, and I said,
look at the Twink concentrating here.
I'm telling you, I know people are terrified of it. I know that the rank and file Republican in D.C. is terrified of it. The base wants this. If you want to drive base turnout, lean into this issue. Find a way to thread the needle so you don't freak out, the people that are in these contested elections, I'm sure. But I'm telling you, this will drive turnout. I think it's a winner.
So you're the one you're the guy he's in charge of publicity he was Turning Point. And you're the one who's saying how to drive people to the polls. Your content fucking bites. Like you're losing audience share I mean, the only people watching your show are people like, fuck you guys. Like, people want to come shit on your program, right? Like, why would anybody listen to fucking you talk about how to bring people in, right? You're repelling them, you know?
Even among some Democrats that don't want to even admit it, or independents that don't want to admit it, they don't necessarily want to say it out loud. We asked the question, Rich, would you support an immigration moratorium? Go ahead and throw up 168. This did way better than even I anticipated. 168. Look at that number. The
90%.
is 90% of the attendees at America Fest, which again is these are the grassroots. This is like the plumbers, the electricians. These are everyday
Yeah,
people.
they look like plumbers and electricians. They look kind of like losers and young losers and young dumb fucks. That's kind of what, like there was like a, how like they have like, when you get on a ride on an amusement park and there's like a, you have to be taller than this, whatever it is. Just, they have something there to judge your height. If you're shorter than that, you can't get on the ride. They did that with like IQs at America Fest. Like they would scan your IQ, and if it was too high, they wouldn't let you in, right?
People that attend this, and lots of students, they want an immigration moratorium. Now, I am not naive. I know that the Republicans in Congress are not ready to tackle this issue. I strongly encourage you to reconsider your appetite for this issue ahead of the midterms. Rich, what's your takeaway here?
Yeah, I would say suck it up, Buttercup. I mean, if you remember when President Trump posted that he would do the moratorium, we actually polled that even nationally, and it did extremely well. That was right before Tennessee, the special election in Tennessee 7. And if you remember, Emerson had a poll. It was very...
Okay, so immigration is no longer as big a concern as the Epstein things and the economy and other things, right, that are going on. But people want accountability, and you can see in the comment section, people are, Trump pretended to be a certain kind of guy, which all politicians do, and people imagined him to be something he wasn't on top of that, right? And then he turned out to be a piece of shit elitist. Trump is an elitist, and so are all the rest of them. None of these people who say, oh, let's go after the elite. The Democrats are always the ones who are like, oh, we're for the common man, and we're going after, they never do, right? Like they say that so that they can get enough votes so they can be rigged in their favor or whatever. Or, you have to vote for somebody. You have two pieces of shit out there, and you have to pull the lever for somebody if you believe in voting, which I don't. And many of you don't, because it's a fucking waste of time, because it doesn't fucking mean anything, right? They install the candidates they want. They rig the election. It's, whatever it is. And it's whoever you get is going to suck. It's just going to be, they're going to suck in one direction. The other people are going to suck in another. And they have different handlers. Like Trump's handlers are Israel and the economy, Wall Street, these people, bankers. And, the Democrats, whoever, Gavin Newsom's handlers are going to be somebody different. Certainly, some of the same handlers. But they have these power groups, and these power groups war with each other for little billions of dollars in crumbs and shit that they take from each other, that swings one way or another. But the end of the day, it's not fucking, there's nothing there, right? And this immigration issue is fucking nothing. What are you fucking talking about? Like, no one gives a shit about this right now because he's putting in martial law and he's doing all these things. And people are realizing the inflation is just going to go up. And then everything else is, around that. And they're bummed about Israel. They're bummed about, Charlie Kirk's for real assassination. I mean, this is like, did you poll America Fest and see how many people believed in the official story? Right? How many people believed in the official story? And a lot of the people who would have gone, who would have gone before didn't go because they're not buying your bullshit anymore, right? Everything we need to know about Bill Clinton and the Epstein files, 129 comments. So that's low for 8,000 views. That's really low. So I don't understand. They might even be inflating these numbers then. I wish Charlie was back. Rest in peace, Charlie. God bless Candace, Charlie, and the real truth. People disrespect too much. Lock him up. Lock Trump up too. Lock all the guilty. This dude making millions using Charlie Kirk's name. Now do Trump. Of course, it's another lobby. Why is Trump protecting Clinton Why is he still walking around free? Lock him up. Trump, so even the ones who believe in this Bill Clinton bullshit, still are wondering why Trump isn't. Trump is starting to be a disappointment. You consider Thomas Massie a lowlife, but you hope that Bill Clinton isn't unfairly judged. You've lost the plot. Please, Mr. President, we voted for you to do better. Do better. Do you think he's reading these fucking comments? You think he's all, please, Mr. President, do better? What the fuck are you talking about? This is dumb fuckistan, right? But they're getting that Trump, these are dumb fucks who realize that Trump sucks. And Trump is the one putting out Bill Clinton photos. They've been trying to tag Bill Clinton with this since the beginning. You're as bad as them now. Could you please do an explanation of this photo with the guy wearing Cookie Monster shirt? I feel judgmental about his integrity. Thanks. Midterms, I will only be voting for a Protestant America First candidate. I'm not voting otherwise. I bet every one of your bank accounts quadruple. I really miss Charlie. So that's the first one. So that's all negative comments. This one, Nicki Minaj calls out white racism. I pray that all the people involved in Charlie's murder get exposed and arrested. Justice for all, Charlie. The duality is insane. Charlie Kirk would be appalled with the amount of evil that is going on here. She also called J.D. Vance an assassin. Nothing weird there. Yeah, the clip that they proposed to play there, where she was talking about, white racism, and that it's okay to be feel good about being white or whatever it is. That bled into her talk saying J.D. Vance was an assassin, which they didn't cover here. I thought I heard Charlie Kirk say we've had enough rap. I think we should remember every one of Charlie's principles and follow them. God bless you all. What sticks out to me is Charlie saying she isn't a role model for young girls, and he was right. The world is a stage, and we are all just players. Why did Nicki Minaj admit that J.D. Vance is an assassin? So, again, all negative comments. So, the comments here, 223 comments, some more here. The video got 16,000 views, still low in the comments. They're not getting a lot of comments. And I know that they're getting more dislikes to likes on every video. Everyone's saying you guys suck. And they keep on pretending they don't, right? This got 12,000 views. MAGA base sends a clear message to President Trump. TikTok is very bad. So they're already saying, why are you guys advertising TikTok? TikTok is an addiction beyond belief to you all. You need to not promote it. TikTok is a communist China folks. I hate TikTok. Translate into English. I'm 58. I remember newspapers showing the numbers of people allowed in the U.S. by day country. I certainly would not mind a moratorium on immigration. So that's one that's one kind of positive comment for them. TikTok is garbage. Please do live streams of Charlie when he was doing debates and speaking truth. Yeah. Those are not live streams. He's dead. Please do dead streams of Charlie Kirk when he was doing debates and speaking the truth. We need to stay focused, and more people need his message to America. Nah, TikTok is brain rot. TikTok is evil. TikTok advertising. We're good guys. Tone deaf for sure. We love, and this is two of these videos had TikTok as the advertiser. We love and love Charlie. We love and love Charlie. This is tragedy, and we'll never stop talking until we know the truth. R.I.P. Charlie, your death was horrific and needs to cause America to change. Keep spreading the light, TPUS gay. One positive comment here. We are all Charlie Kirk. Yes, 100% moratorium on immigration. There's some love, finally. TikTok has values. Once compromised and people realize it will never be the same. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. So, this is, you guys are fucking, I mean, you're getting rolled up on just videos that aren't anything about the murderers. And now you got TikTok advertising like it's a fucking... Anyways, all right. Let's move to something else here. Okay, so my Christmas Day message. This is all the clips up to this point were I'm done on Christmas. And then whatever I add tomorrow, or I guess there's a video going up tomorrow night. I guess we'll see what happens. But it's about dumb fuckistan. This video is about dumb fuckistan, and the degradation of people. So the comments, on the TPUS gay video about why isn't Trump locking up Bill Clinton? Because they never lock up anybody. When's the last time you saw a major politician, ex-president? I mean, even Nixon, who was impeached, they didn't lock him up. Like he was impeached, but he committed felonies. That was why he got impeached. And I mean, they didn't charge him with these felonies. I mean, Trump committed felonies. What even happened to that? Like, did he just erase those? Like, the Supreme Court said a president can't be guilty of anything, right? Trump himself already said that he protected Hillary Clinton. Like, these dumb fucks don't know that, right? And then Alex Jones coming out and saying, oh my God, this guy is such a scumbag, this Candace Owens guy. They just lie to their audience. Like, they say they're one way about everything in terms of the mainstream system persecuting people until it's their enemies or something that are against, and then they switch their whole worldview, and their audience just laps it up. I mean, to whatever extent. Sometimes their audience gets it, or some of them. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, you can say anything to dumb fucks, and they'll just go along with you. And if they don't, they just transfer their dumb fucks attitude and presence to somebody else. Like the dumb fucks that used to be 2PUS gay are now with Candace, or they were with both of them, and they pick sides, and most of them pick Candace, but it's producing content for dumb fucks, right? Like, you can see it, like they're just pandering to dumb fucks. Like, they don't say things that intelligent people with critical thinking skills will decimate, will take apart. They just, push out dumb fuck stuff. And it's because that's where all the people are, that's where all the money is, that's where all the support is. It's much easier to get support from dumb fucks than it is to get from smart people. And so, like, it's just a degradation, and it fuels more stupid content. Like, the content goes from, stuff that would be aimed at people with critical thinking skills to dumb fucks. All right, let's make content for dumb fucks, and then that makes the dumb fucks stupider because the content then becomes dumber and dumber. You see it in movies and TV shows and across the board, and then people, you have idiocracy, right? And so when it gets to that point, you're like, well, then this system has to go, right? Like, the system itself is fucked. Because if it's making us worse, if we're de-evolving, if we're becoming stupider, we're becoming ape-like, we're losing abilities, we're hemorrhaging abilities because of the internet and the technology and the stupidity, and we're getting AI to think for us, and we don't know how to read a map anymore, and all the things our phones do for us, right? All the things now, we're carrying this computer around with us, and it does all these things. You don't need to know how to have these skills. Like back when they didn't have watches, when we didn't have timepieces, that technology took abilities away from people. People had a way of assessing the time, and they would just know what time it is, right? I mean, you can kind of do that now. You can know what the days are like, and you're like, oh, it's around this time. You sense what time it is. Like, oh, it must be around 3, and I'm like, oh, it's 2:30. It's pretty close, right? But, people have lost all those kind of abilities just from having watches. Never mind everything you have now. And so, people are less than because of the technology, and less than because of the pandering to the dumbest among us. And so, that's where we're at. And so why would you think that this society and this country and this civilizations we're saving, the system, if it's making people worse, right? And the family breaks down, and morality breaks down, and all these things. And so, you have to go one way or another. And, people saying, well, I want it to go back to the way it was, that's such a dumb fuck attitude. It should be better. We should be, if you're saying we got to make America great again, and both the left and the right are saying that, Biden's saying we're fighting for the soul of this country because they see, Trump is taking it in the wrong direction, and he is, and Biden was taking it in the wrong direction as well. So both sides are right. And so they're both saying, well, we need to go back to the way it was. No, we should be going and making it better. Like, we should be leaving, progress should be happening, like progress where people are getting better. Like, I always say this, the system is judged by its product, and the product is people. The product is also pollution, and the product is also the damage the system's doing, the weapons, the garbage, all of it. So the air pollution, the electromagnetic pollution, and Wi-Fi and all that stuff. And so a system is judged by its output, and the number one output is the people. So what kind of people does this system produce? Because the system has an educational aspect, it has a social aspect, right? It has a moral aspect. It has a relationship with God aspect, religion, these things. Are people getting better or worse? In every category, people are getting worse. Their ability to use technology is getting better, but that doesn't mean anything because it's about complacency. They're hemorrhaging abilities. And so when you have a system that's making people worse, then the system has to go. Like by every measurable standards, it is a system that is the outcome, the product. If you had a company and the company was making toys and the toys came out completely deformed and irregular, there's this store, I think it still exists, called Marshall's. And my sister used to work at Marshall's, and they had irregular clothing, like name brand clothing with like an extra zipper, like buttonholes missing and shit, like and you could get like good clothing, but it was irregular, it was deformed, it was like not, there was something, it was blemished in some way, and some were less than others. But if you had your machinery was producing things that were garbage that you couldn't use, you'd have to get rid of the machines. You'd have to get rid of that system. And when the system is producing horrible people and it's supposed to be making people better and connecting people, to a higher consciousness and bringing them to a higher level. And so that exists for people. That could be our system, but it isn't. And then the people are the ones who created the system, so they have to go. Like it's you have to do something, right? I mean, if you're God, if you're divine beings who are orchestrating and overseeing this planet, they have to do something, right? You have to get rid of the people, the system, or both. Definitely the system, and then to whatever extent the people. Because, at some point people have to get better and produce a better system. This is the Kali Yuga, so there's some leeway there. This is a phase, maybe, whatever. But if people keep on just going down to the lowest common denominator and de-evolving and choosing the lower nature time and time again, at some point it's going to be like it's just fucking, it's a failed experiment. There's a lot of extinct creatures that didn't make the grade. Creatures you serve a purpose, a species does. There's more extinct creatures than there are like living creatures. I mean, I don't know if that's true. I just made that up. I have no idea there's no way to, there's no way to verify this because there's lots of extinct creatures they don't know about. But, you get the idea here. Actually, I said this. I didn't know it was true. They said, I swiped out, but I was going to read it. But 99% of all creatures are extinct. Yeah, here is the thing. Scientists estimate that over 99% of all species that ever lived on Earth are now extinct. That includes countless forms of life spanning billions of years, from simple microorganisms to complex plants and animals. So we're only seeing 1% of all the creatures that once lived on Earth, right? And so, most of the creatures are extinct. Again, that's estimated by science, but you get the idea. So that's, like, why are we so special, right? When we're clearly not. So, we have higher level developed consciousness, but are we going to embrace it, right? We have vast amounts of unrealized potential as people. And it starts with our connection to divinity and working for God and giving up our freedom of choosing the wrong thing. And I say this over and over again. People don't want to do that. They don't even want to hear it. And so that's where we're at. So anyways, that's my Christmas message here. It's going to be the day after Christmas when you guys hear it. And then I'll add some things tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I'll just put this video up like this. We'll see. It all is, everything's it's a fluid situation. Actually, there's one more thing I want to add here. I might as well leave this open and see if there's comments that I want to talk about. Or I might I'll just do that at the end of the video. But I don't believe in holidays and, to whatever extent I do. Like, it's good to have days to look forward to and whatever it is. But my days are good. Every day is kind of the same. And a person that moved around a lot and couldn't stay in the same place and couldn't sustain relationships and couldn't hold a job for a very long period of time, I have really appreciated routine, especially as I've gotten older. Routine and consistency has really helped you. When you're young, you have energy to burn and you can compensate for change and, instability. But routine is really important, and I have a good routine. I'm happy most of the time. Almost all the time, really, because I don't dwell on negativity, and my days are good. And special days like holidays and birthdays, like some days are just better than others, right? Some days you feel better. Some days it's just the energy's different. And, it'd be nice if we had a white Christmas here, but it's also nice that I don't have to deal with snow, right? So it's kind of warm. It's been warm the last couple days. It was really warm last night. And, it's like I kind of believe in holidays, but I think there should be not that much emphasis on them, right? Not to the point where, my ex's birthday was on Halloween. And depending on where we lived and depending on what we didn't like our kids eating junk candy. So, whatever it was that we had to get in terms of, sweet things that were good, but they were healthy. And then we had to figure out how to distribute them. Like the kids would dress up and then go from door to door in the house, for example. But I also had to do a birthday for my ex. And I was in charge of most of the Halloween stuff, which isn't a holiday. It's my least favorite holiday. And it was stressful to pull off a birthday and do things with the kids. And there were places the kids did go trick-or-treating, but, we're not psyched about the candy. A lot of the candy's just junk. It's just chemicals and whatever. And so, it was just stressful all the fucking time, right? A lot of those things were. And just in general, I felt holidays, especially for parents, and trying to have your kids have good holidays and good birthdays. And, there was four kid birthdays and all the holidays. And, there's a whole thing, right? And then, some days they just suck. Like sometimes your birthday just sucks. And, and especially if you build it up and it's a shitty day, it gets even worse. And it's, the wrong way to look at it. Like, things that are special, like, simplifying things and, not expecting them to be special makes them, the really good days are days that you didn't think were going to be good. They come out of nowhere and, sometimes you just feel great. Some days you just feel happy. There's nothing special about the day itself. It's generated internally, right? And so in terms of the holidays, this has been one of the better ones because there wasn't very much stress on it. We had those lights I had already put out. My wife and I went walking around the lights in our little lighted area. I showed some, I'll put that as an image here if I remember to do that. We have all these, tea lights and lights that are out there. And they're there all year round. I go out now at night and I bring the dogs. And if it's been a sunny day, it depends on how late I go out with the dogs and, how it's a solar-powered light, so how long the charge holds. But, it's a nice thing to have on a daily basis. And, the chickens knock the lights over, so I go and pick them up every once in a while. There's this thing. But, not having to deal with all the Christmas decorations. As a kid, I used to build our fake tree, and I would decorate it. My parents were over it. My siblings were all much older than me. Without that, there would be nothing. I'd pull everything out of the fucking, we had whatever it is, boxes of Christmas shit. I'd pull it out, and I would just do it because my parents were, not into it. And, and it was, that was Christmas, and, but now I'm, fucking completely over it. Because it's not just about the, the problem is how many people think about Jesus on Christmas, right? There's just no Jesus in Christmas anymore. Because it isn't his real fucking birthday, so that's problematic. It's a solstice holiday, and, Satan, Santa is an anagram for Satan, and Krampus and fucking the Elf on the Shelf and all these other holiday movies. It's really about Santa Claus and then the rest of it. And, none of those things are why it's, it should be celebrating Jesus' birth for Christians, and they don't really do that. Not in a real way, because everything is materialistic, and Jesus was, basically poor and unmaterialistic, right? He wasn't a moneyed person. Anyway, so, I always say something like this on Christmas. Well, anyways, I'll wrap this video up tomorrow, and we'll see, but, what other gems are out there for me to add here. Okay. Well, today is Friday, December 26th. I have two things to add to this video this morning. And then I'm going to move on to something else, the next video. This happened a month ago, and I'm kind of bummed I didn't know about it. It's kind of a huge thing, specifically for me, for a variety of reasons. This is JD Vance at a Turning Point Faith conference, and he sells out his wife, Usha here. I'll go back a little bit just in case I missed something. Here.
was good for the country 50 or 60 years ago binds the country inevitably for the future. There's too many people who want to come to the United States of America, and my job as vice president is not to look out for the interests of the whole world. It's to look out for the people of the United States.
After we look out for Israel, first Israel, then the United States, maybe, some other countries first, and then like the elites, well, the elites first, then like Israel, and then, kind of same thing. And then, eventually I look out for you guys. Like, you're like 10th, 11th.
Woo! Now, you asked a personal question about our interfaith household. And yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not in a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. Everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about...
Okay, so why did you first communion? So they're Catholic.
About a year ago.
So does anybody else do first communions? Like I did first communion because I grew up Catholic, but I don't know how many other people eat the wafer. So it's god awful. It tastes like cardboard. I used to stick it to the roof of my mouth and just let it sit there and see if it would dissolve. I mean, I don't know what they make it out of, but it's not, I guess they think it's unleavened bread or some shit like that, but it's not like I've had matzah before. Matzah's a lot better than the wafer they give you for communion. And thank God I never had to drink the wine. I think I drank the wine once. It was disgusting. I think they water it down or some shit. It's gross. It's supposed to be the blood of Christ. And you're supposed to be eating Christ's body and his blood. Like, this is how fucked up it is. Like, they're still doing that shit. It's a reference for, the body of... When you go up to communion, they go the body of Christ. And they used to put it in your mouth. And the altar boy would have this, silver, like a plate with a hand, like a little round metal, plate kind of thing on a handle to make sure that if you somehow the wafer fell out of your mouth, that it would catch it because they didn't want the body of Christ hitting the floor. That's how fucked up it is, right? Like and then they used to give you wine and they said this is the blood of Christ. So I think everyone was drinking out of the same goblet, like some gross thing, right? So and weird, but then they made it so they put it in your hands. And you had to hold one hand over the other hand. That was like the right hand over the left, some kind of thing like that. I don't know what they do now. So, this was I think I probably went to, my last church was in the 70s or 80s. But anyways, that's, these Catholic maybe.
That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. But, thank you. My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion. Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Old Miss wishes him the best. But I think
so this is the Old Miss thing, right? This is at the Old Miss.
Everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. It's true for friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in, atheist and Christian marriages. You just got to talk to the only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with. And you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that. Because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way. But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will, and so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you work out with your friends, with your family, with the person that you love. Again, one of the most important Christian principles is that you respect free will. Usha's closer to the priests who baptized me than maybe I am. They talk about this stuff. My attitude is you figure this stuff out as a family and you trust in God to have a plan and you try to follow it as best as you can. And that's what I try to do.
Okay, so is Usha going to hell? Right? So is your wife going to join you in heaven when she doesn't accept Lord Jesus as her Savior? Because that's what we're talking about here, right? The thing is that, I've said this before, the Hindu religion is the best because they're not dickish about, like, they don't shit on Jesus, right? Or any of them, Muhammad or any of them. In fact, there's people who are, there's some reports in India that Jesus was there. But they look at anybody who's, they have an attitude that there are a lot of people who are saints and, whatever they are, right? And that there'll be more. Like, that's the other thing, that there'll be more, higher developed souls, that there's these Mahatmas or whatever it is, right? Avatars, these, higher developed souls that come down. And they're always looking for them. Too much to the sense that there are all these fake gurus running around. I mean, it's a very, it's like anything else that gets exploited. So, but there's shitty things about the religion, but they don't have like a pope, and it's not one sort of, I mean, in terms of denominations, like there's people there that put on like tiger masks, like they have a lot of weird shit, like a lot of sex, like there are these people in West Virginia that hold up rattlesnakes and copperhead poisonous snakes and dance around with them, right? Like, there's a guy, like a liberal reporter who's like an atheist. He went up and he started to observe these people in West Virginia who dance around with poisonous snakes. There's a kind of report I saw. Oh, I don't know if I could find it. I saw it years ago. But it was like well worth watching. And then by the end of it, he's dancing around with fucking snakes too. He's an atheist. And he's fucking, he's out there with these hillbillies, right? Some educated atheist. He's out there with his hillbillies. Before you know it, he's fucking picking up poisonous snakes and dancing around with them. It shows you what people will do. But, the Hindu religion is, there's Rama and Krishna. And they're both incarnations of the same being, Vishnu, right? The God, the cosmic functionary of preservation. And so, the time between the maintenance time between creation and destruction, right? There's creation, preservation, and destruction. And Master Charji wrote, I think he had these books called Down Memory Lane, and he and some other smart kids that were in a higher class. There was a guy who was like an untouchable, and he used to, those they had like buckets underneath these toilets, like they were like porta potties, but with just buckets, and the guy's job was to go and take the buckets out, disgusting job, right? Like these toilets. And the guy loved Rama and hated Krishna, like it was silly, like a silly thing. And the kids somehow found out about it, and the guy would be taking the buckets out, and they'd be yelling, Krishna, 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 to tease him. And, the guy was like a simple, probably, really malnourished, like fucking, and the guy would run at them like aggressively. This is like a grown-ass man. And they would go, no, Rama, Rama, Rama. And he would say, oh, yes, say Rama. And and then he'd walk away and they'd go, Krishna. Like they did it for hours. They're like torturing this guy, right? The simple guy. But, every religion is goofy. Like they have goofy shit in it. And people, they have all these different sects that, will focus on one part of the story. And they'll find some biblical force to make it okay to pick up poisonous snakes, or some guy like David Koresh will find some way to say that he gets to bang all the women, right? Like some kind of bullshit like that, right? Like it's always like that. But, there's a vast amount of like good things in all the religions, the primary stories of teaching. But for the most part, they're all compromised, right? There's just, because people learn when they exploit God, when they can tell you this comes from God. I'm receiving something from God right now. And that's the problem with channeled messages, because channeling is, some form of channeling is something everyone should do, or connecting with God. But sometimes you could connect to a not great soul, or like a demonic soul or something. You could connect to a lower developed soul, or your own imagination will tell you things, and you think you're talking to God, your inner voice. And so it's like you need to have a connection to God, but you also have to have some level of purification and other things to make sure it's divinity coming through you. And it's just it's sort of like a whole thing, right? It's an unfortunate state of affairs, and at the end of the day, nobody wants to listen to their their true inner voice. No one really wants to listen to their soul, because like it tells you shit you don't want to hear, right? Like if you could talk to God. All these people say they love Jesus. If Jesus was here right now, he would tell you shit you didn't want to hear, and you would be pissed, and you would say, "Hey, fuck you, Jesus," right? Like like all these Christians, who have all these patriotic beliefs, all these. I mean, I hear shit all the time from Christians, and I know Jesus wouldn't endorse those things. Especially the stuff like, I mean, if Turning Point, U.S. Gay, and the rest of it. This guy was Jesus when, Trump. There was this rumor going around the internet that the Haitians were eating people's pets. It was a fucked up thing, right? And I talked about it because personally, like I had good interaction with Haitian people. My mom started doing the Sajmark meditation to these wonderful Haitian women, like these saintly women, who were there in India. They come to India and they saw me when I found out my mom was dead, and they were really sweet. And they were just really this loving people, right? Just these, my interaction, and and to degrade people like that, and some woman, her friend lost her cat, and she was prejudicial towards these Haitian immigrants, and she said, I bet they ate them. And she said on Facebook, like just some random person posted this, and somebody grabbed it, some right-wing fuck, grabbed the post, and then it went viral. And JD Vance checked with the mayor, who was Republican. He was like, this is not true. Do not, don't make this story a national story, right? The truth was Springfield, Ohio was really in trouble because they had lost 20,000 of their residents. Like they closed a plant or something, and they needed more people to do jobs. And they got an influx of Haitian immigrants, and it was, good and bad, like anything else. But it wasn't, it wasn't really a crisis. And then and J.D. Vance found out that the story was bullshit. And Trump decided to run with it anyway, right? And this guy went along with it. It's a fucked up thing, right? It's not something Jesus would endorse, right? Like something like that lying and demonization of people. Of course, nothing came of it because, when Trump said, oh, they're eating the dogs, right? But, the Hindu religion is better because of the fact that it has like every religion except for like Christianity has, and I don't know, then, I think even Judaism has it. And the Muslim religion has it, with the Sufis. And the Jewish religion has Kabbalah. And I don't know exactly what that is, but there is a higher track. It's like an honors. They have something for people who are just a cut above, who want to be spiritual. And in India, they have the most. They have this yogic practices, and they have, living gurus and people that can, legitimate ones, that people who can help you connect to God. They have different paths. Of course, the Sajmark system, I think, is the best, the one that I do. But they have these things that come out of their religion. And Sajmark really isn't a part of Hinduism because it's like a whole new thing. Like it's a movement that's, but it's been compromised by this heartfulness thing, right? Which is really hard for me to watch. I mean, really painful. And, even now a little bit if I think about it. Because it's, you get these rare opportunities where you can do the higher, right? So most religions are cater to the lower. And there's lots of people, they just don't give a shit about their relationship with God, like 99% of people. And, I was one of them. Like, I didn't care about it, right? And then I had an experience where, like, it was like, oh, I got to care about this, right? Like, it was, the experience was so overwhelming. But it wasn't like, I had, I guess, a little bit when I was a kid. So it was there. It's always there. My mom was a spiritual person. Like she had, the religion, she wanted to go beyond her religion, right? And, those are the things that the Christian religion has tortured those people. If you look at all the Christian saints, people who went beyond their religion, transcended their religion, and did what Jesus did, the Christian religion over periods of time has tortured those people, right? Like it's been really shitty to those people because, they just want dumb fucks. Like it's like anything else. Like you get the dumb people that you can really manipulate and take advantage of. You manipulate, and I'm going to say that again because my microphone just flashed. That you can manipulate and con, and they can take advantage of them. And there's I have these. It's a Bluetooth thing, and there's 5 lights or 4 lights, and when I see they flash, then there's always interference. I don't know why. I've tried to figure it out, and one person explained it to me. I'm like, I don't understand that at all. And then there was no, what would I do about it, right? Kind of thing. But anyways, I used to have a microphone on a cord. It was a pain in the ass. So that's the price that I have to pay that there's some kind of interference. But anyways, there's all these things that are, and the other thing that's better about Hinduism is that, again, it's like so many people doing, like a billion plus people all doing different things, right? It's such a widespread practice. Okay, so I just went to eat breakfast because I slept till like 9:30. And it was already 10:30, and if I'm going to eat breakfast, it's got to be before 10:30. And I didn't make my point here, which I wish I had, because I have no idea what I was going to say. And I hope it is. I don't know if it's about this, but it's that it really stresses the divinity within you, right? There's these 2 things that you say to people, pranams and namaste, and there's one of them means the light. I think it's namaste means the light in me bows before the light in you, or the soul in me bows before the soul in you, and recognizing the divinity within people. I mean, it's the religion in which the soul was discovered years and years ago. The Atman, right? I mean, all religions are compromised, and especially the older it gets, the more it gets diffuse. There's 2 things there. It gets diffuse, and it gets compromised in terms of the original message and the original whatever it is. But they're not, they get along with people a lot better because they recognize the divinity within everybody, that there's divinity and that people can embrace that divinity, and that people from all over the world can do that. And that, various religions aren't just bullshit, like ours is the only one. Ours is the only legitimate one, right? That we can somehow trademark or copyright God. Like there's more sophistication in the general, basis of the religion, right? That there's divinity within people, and it stresses that, which, the God in the 3 major religions from Judaism, Islam and Christianity, divinity is outside of you, right? There's the Sufism from Islam, where the higher souls, they do some form of the transmission that's done in the thing that I do. There's some Sufi saints that have influence over the Saj Marg meditation I do. So that's there is these other things. But anyways, for J.D. Vance, his wife is going to hell, right? That's the teachings of Christianity. And he has a political problem because he has a wife who's, I guess she's an atheist, right? She goes to church with them, sends the kids to Christian school, but doesn't believe whatever. Does she believe in God? What is her thing? Like, what does she do? She's not Hindu. She grew up loosely as a Hindu. A lot of these Hindus come over to America and they become Christian. Like, it's just, you're like, it's better to be Christian. You see a lot of, and they're very, into it, right? Like, you see these guys, some of the politicians, the Indian politicians and some of these people, they get really into Christianity. And they always end up being Republicans, which is weird because they're educated, and they're moneyed people, and they're conservative, and India has a very conservative culture. But anyways, it's really hard for somebody to really be into something like religion, where it's, the basis of everything, right? I mean, this is where, like, he's throwing his wife under the bus. Like, he shouldn't be saying shit like this, especially at an event where Erika Kirk's touching the back of his head, like that, See, Erika Kirk touches the back of her head, and they had that weird hug. And then, she talks about how much she loves Usha, but Usha's, going to hell according to, both of them, their beliefs. Right? She doesn't accept Jesus as her Lord and Savior. And so, he hopes that she becomes Christian. Maybe that's a storyline they have to roll out. I mean, I don't know why she just wouldn't say she is. Like, who gives a shit, right? Just in terms of the public. But like, he's married to a person going to hell, right? You know, and so a heathen, and like he's making religion a centerpiece of his campaign more than Trump did. I mean, Trump's not religious at all, and it shows you there's nothing sacred in their marriage, and this idea that he can dump her because of her, not being on the same, not what evenly yoked, as the Christians would say, right? When you're religious and your spouse isn't, it's there's going to be issues, and so throwing her under the bus, and then this whole stuff with Erika Kirk. But Erika Kirk does not play well. Like, she is not a fucking. People think that she's going to be either JD Vance's new wife or his vice president, but she is a fucking nightmare, and most people can see it. I mean, certainly all the liberals see it, but she's not going to get a lot of love from the right wing. She's going to get some. I mean, after all the stuff that's happened, it's tainted. So, anyways, there's that. Okay. So I opened up my phone, and this was recommended to me by someone named Adam. Alex Jones officially works for Mossad, and his handler is Lunar Loomer. This explains his behavior and garbage takes over the last year. Alex Jones is a pathetic fraud. Really, that's where you're coming. That, like, you've realized this now. And then Laura Loomer. I'm proud to say that I am responsible for Alex Jones seeing the light as it pertains to how malicious and insane Candace Owens has become. A couple weeks ago, Alex Jones had a very long private conversation about some bad actors in the woke right. And Alex told me he was starting to come around to what I've been saying for the last 2 years. Eventually, people will wake up to this psych op. And so it's sad now that I'm investigating her. It's incredibly clear that it's all premeditated manipulation. I am completely blown away. You guys are all fake truther grifters. I mean, like, everyone kind of should know that. Like, anybody they put a microphone in front of their face is owned. Like, anybody that's getting, substantial amounts of play in the mainstream media. I mean, Alex Jones has always been a piece of shit grifter. Like, just, he's always hurt the truth community. Laura Loomer is disgusting, and we now know, we know about Candace Owens, right? Like, she's, they're all like, and she's following the Alex Jones model. But she showed a clip where Alex Jones was praising her, and that she was getting all these people, but now he's like, calling bullshit, and it doesn't serve him. Like, Alex Jones has always taken heat for never criticizing Israel. So, it's just a mess. Like, the truth community is a complete mess. And with that, let me go to this. I want to show you this. Actually, there's two memes I want to show you, though. I want to show you this thing from Netflix. Charlie J. Kirk, and then this one. So many people sent me that. And then this one, just TPUS gay. And there's mistletoe. And this thing. This Christmas, things are heating up. Right? And so, it's bad when they are already saying you're trying to take another man's wife, the vice president's wife, and, your husband's only been dead like 3 months, right? I mean, they were saying that 2 months ago. So, but, there's that. Okay, so I watched this show called Relay, I think it was called, from Netflix. Pretty good show. I could give it a 4-star. And this guy, a little bit of a spoiler alert. Not really that much, but this guy he represents people who have, like, stolen documents, who want to be whistleblowers, and then want to make a deal to give the documents back and be left alone after being harassed. And he had done something similar. It comes out later in the movie, and now he helps people, get protected by the whole, by his system. He has a system, right? And in his system, he keeps a copy of the document, and if the people check in with them, and if they don't say that they're all right, he'll release the document. And so it's a way that he has this protection, which I know is bullshit, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So it gets to the point where he's being compromised here, and he's whatever it is. I'm not going to get into the plot story, but he's talking to this guy, and he just says to him, I'm going to release the documents. And this guy says this.
And then what, huh? The idea of journalists or their readers actually caring, it's a cute liberal fantasy. Most of the media work with us anyway, so they won't publish in a hurry. And that leaves the conspiracy theorists on social media. Good luck with that.
So he says, you're going to publish the documents, so what? Like, nobody gives a shit. And he works for Big Pharma. Most of this companies is big Pharma. And these guys are, people are whistleblowers for like side effects of Big Pharma. And he says most of the media companies working with us anyway, which really means that Big Pharma owns the media companies. So all you got left is the internet conspiracy theories, and good luck with that. And I know that to be true, right? I've said this over and over again, because we don't have any leverage, right? And, there's lawsuits that people can do, but pharmaceutical companies straight up release their information about the side effects things caused, and people take it anyway. They don't give a shit about the side effects. It's out there for people to see. They post it. You can go and search for the side effects of any medication. And why would anybody take any medication with the possible side effects? You're like playing Russian roulette. But most people think, oh, this is stuff that they just say it's a rare occurrence, or it's not going to happen to me. But the majority of people will take the fucking medication if their doctor says to take it, and they won't think about it at all, because people are fucking dumb fucks, and they're this is the whole theme of this video. The dumb, it's just the dumb fuckery is and just, it's not about, like I said, IQ points. It's about like a lack of, personal responsibility to figure out the truth, knowing that we live in a sea of lies, right? So, it sucks. It's like what I always say about how exhausting it is to read the ingredients constantly. But, they poison you, and it's just there. It's in the foods, it's in the, all of these things. And it was talked about in the campaign. It was talked about by these people. It was supposed to be something that Kennedy was going to deal with. And everyone's gone to sleep on it, and most people just don't want to put in the effort. And so they'll take these medications. But the more important thing is there's no avenue for the truth. And I don't know if there ever was, but there was stories the media used to break. The media has always been compromised, but not like it is now. And the problem with social media, that they've just been able to make this label of crazy conspiracy theorists, and he's one of the once people think that you're a part of that label, they want no part of you. Even the majority of people believe the government's full of shit and the media's full of shit. But it's somehow worse to be somebody who's like some crazy conspiracy theorist. Like for most people, even within the truth community, and there's people who are on the fringe and people push it too far. And of course, there's just madness out there. It's a lot of, information that's being pushed out there to dumb fucks. And the people who are prominent in the so-called truth community, people who are alternative media. Don Lemons calls himself like, I'm not a part of the legacy media. Like he calls it the legacy media, right? And they have left-wing people and right-wing people, and they're all full of shit. They're all compromised. And, you can't be left and right and be a truther, because you're denying the basic fabric of what truth is, right? the fabric of reality. And so, whenever I hear somebody, like Candace Owens did this a while ago, they have this thing called the poison pill. And if I die, I'm going to release all this documentation. I've sent it to everybody. And so when I die, they'll publish this document. And I'm like, well, why don't you fucking give us a documentation now, you fucking lying piece of shit, right? Like, why don't you give it to your audience right now? You mean you're withholding documentation that's damaging to the system and the beast and all these people, and you're not willing to release it? So you're more loyal to those people than you are to your audience, right? And so why aren't you releasing that documentation? If you have documentation that could take, people or the system down, then probably you're responsible to release that to your audience if you're a truth teller. But the simple truth is that no information being released to the public is going to do shit. The public is denutted. The public has nothing but going ape shit. And the only reason they'll ever do that is if their lifestyle is taken away from them. Because why would anybody break the system? Groups of people, the majority of people come together and break the system. And have mass like mobs and stuff like this. if the system's still running and if they're getting fed and all these things. Because all the mob can do is break a system. The mob can't build a system. The mob can't, the crazy mob that goes ape shit. The mob can't do anything but throw rocks and fucking set fires and, have a big spasm, have riots. You can have riots, but that's just going to destroy shit. And it's just going to, whatever you're losing in terms of your lifestyle, then you're going to burn down buildings and in your own neighborhood and shit like that, right? Small business owners and just, you're not going to do any damage. They don't give a shit about that. They want chaos. Protests don't work. We've seen it over and over again. Maybe small scale protests at some point, but not now. And exposing truther type narratives doesn't have any effect because now there's so much information and disinformation out there. People don't know what to believe, and people just don't care. Like people have already, had their moment where they realize some real shit is being done. Like almost everybody comes to something. Maybe 60% of people have their truther moment where they get really upset about a certain thing. It could be like Pizzagate. It could be a left thing. It could be a right thing. They get really upset about it, certainly in college, like right now it's Gaza and Israel. And then you realize you can't do shit about it. And it's like, what are you willing to risk in terms of your outrage about Gaza? Like, what are you willing to give up? Like, what are you willing to do? How far are you willing to push it? And really, no matter how far you push it, nothing's going to happen, right? There's no information war, right? You can change people's internal worlds and what they believe and what they feel about the system. And that has whatever effect, right? But if you do it with your kid's going to get mad at you. Like we saw this with January 6th stuff. You had kids who are growing up in their own sphere of where they gather information. They're being indoctrinated by their school system. And, many of these cubies and these right-wing dopes, kids were dopey liberals, and they were selling out their parents. They identified their parents for the FBI, and they were saying, "Hey, my parents were there January 6th." They were ratting out their own parents and sending their parents to jail, right? Like fucking, that's how bad it gets. And many of you who have kids, and you've talked to them about truther things, and they rebel against their parents, and they think you're full of shit, and or they're mad at you for taking away their hope and dreams about the system, and so they want to go back into the Matrix and take the blue pill and go back into the Matrix like that character Cypher in the first Matrix movie. They want to go back to sleep. So, there's nothing there. There's no recourse. You're not going to change the system. This whole InfoWars bullshit, going back to Alex Jones and his, discovering him being a piece of shit. But there's nothing there. Like, I've known this for a long time. I keep on saying it. And so when somebody comes up like Candace Owens and everyone starts gravitating to her, whatever she's doing with the Charlie Kirk thing, nothing ever fucking happens. And if it did, it would happen to one person or a few people. A one-person scandal. I mean, look at the Jeffrey Epstein thing. Like, Jeffrey Epstein was pals with pretty much fucking every celebrity and every politician of note. Best friends with Donald Trump. And these people, I mean, some of them who call themselves truthers and many Trump people. Trump said Jeffrey Epstein's a terrific guy and he likes young women. And now he's doing everything he can to delay and to obstruct the release of the documents. I mean, he's been doing this, and this whole fucking government has been doing this. And people who said we got to release these have changed their story 100%. And they're still Republicans and they're still Trumpers. How the fuck could you be a Trumper and a Republican and not realize, and admit to yourself that Trump was an Epstein buddy? He knew he was compromised. And whatever it is, it's probably much worse than you'll ever know. But we know enough, right, that Trump is like he's a piece of shit. Like he just should be viewed as a piece of shit that was 100% involved with Epstein on every level, whatever that is for him, knew about it and was complicit at the very least. Was okay with what Jeffrey Epstein was doing to young girls in human trafficking. And, he had 1,600 victims or something like that, Jeffrey Epstein. He was human trafficking all these women. And these people were involved, a guy who was second in line to the British throne at the time, Prince Andrew. I mean, just all this stuff. And Trump is guilty. Trump is fucking guilty of his association with Jeffrey Epstein. He's a piece of shit, and he's a piece of shit for everything else he's done. And yet, they just won't see it. People, Trumpers and the rest of them. I mean, some of them are starting to flirt with it. But you didn't have to wait this long. I said this in 2015 when I saw that quote. Oh, he's fucked, right? But nobody cares. The truth doesn't matter to people because they can't fucking see it. You can't get people to see the truth because they can't see it. And all of us have issues with that. Like we're all, this isn't it's on a, a spectrum. It isn't like there's people who see the truth and people who don't. Like everybody has their prejudice and their lenses and their delusion, their self-delusion, and their, we all have that. Like it's a part of human consciousness, and there's so much lies, and we've been indoctrinated by lies, and it's just we've been grown up in an illusionary system, in an illusionary world, and we're so far from where we could be or where we should be as people in terms of understanding the nature of things, that we're all compromised. We're all a part of that delusion. We're all living in this illusionary world. I mean, this is a simulation. The planet itself is illusionary, but then the dominant culture and the dominant governments and the economic system, it's all bullshit. It's all lies. It's all smoke and mirrors, debt-based economic system, and then all of that goes into it. So, there's no truth. Like, no truth's gonna, people are allergic to the fucking truth. They don't want the fucking truth. People want parts of the truth. They want the part of the truth that, agrees with their worldview and who they are as people. But for the most part, just acknowledging the truth, like, isn't something people are willing to do. Like, something that's difficult for them to admit to. Something that goes against their worldview or who they're rooting for, or it takes away their hope. Like, most people have hope in something. Hope in the liberals, hope in the Democrats, hope in the, whatever it might be, right? Hope in the truth community or whatever it is. That people think that there's something out there that's going to turn things around. Everyone sees we're going in the wrong fucking direction. Like, everyone kind of acknowledges that. Things are getting worse. These kids are much worse off than we were in terms of, not in technology and lifestyle, but in terms of who they are as people. Like, they barely have a life. They barely have a real world life, and they're, there's nothing there. Most of them don't grow up with any sort of, even with a religion, never mind spirituality, any kind of relationship with God. Their families have been decimated. They have no relationship with their parents and their extended family. They don't do family things together. Christmas and these places, holidays are a nightmare because everyone has their own belief system. Everyone's been radicalized by a bunch of bullshit, like various groups that are all full of shit, right? Like, and they're angry about they all get their information from different sources. And the truth community, as it stands, the internet, has made it so the powers that be are aware that there's nothing that can be said that the people are going to just go apeshit. Like, that's, the only thing is when they take away your lifestyle. Other than that, they just get outraged and they post shit on the internet and then they forget about it fucking a week later or whatever it is, like 2 weeks or, or just the passion is there for a moment and they, I'm going to post a firmly worded tweet, like, it doesn't fucking matter. There's nothing you can do. There's no resolution. None of this is, there's no accountability from the people themselves, right? There's no, people aren't going to, the system isn't accountable. There's no accountability in the system anymore. I mean, maybe a few people go to jail here or to prison, or a few people are hung out to dry scandal-wise. But in the powers that be, there's nothing, right? Like, all these people were pals with Jeffrey Epstein, and there's going to be no investigation because they're all implicated in one way or another. And the people aren't going to break the system over Jeffrey Epstein. They're not going to, people's reputations might be tainted or whatever. It might affect somebody running for election or something. But they have plenty of shills, like they can just replace it with somebody else. They don't give a shit about that. There's no accountability where somebody who's done horrible things will actually pay for what they've done. The Sackler family, Big Pharma, the big scandal about the OxyContin, all these opioids that were released, and their false claims, and the pill mills, and been many documentaries about it, mainstream stuff, certainly people on the internet talking about it. And then they were sued, and they had to pay $5 billion, and they made 10. So they were still walking away with $5 billion at the end of that. And then I don't even know if they ever ended up paying. Like, I think it's still in dispute. So they're able to hold on to that money for longer and longer time. And that money just becomes more and more money, right? And then eventually they'll pay some negotiated down settlement, and it'll be, nothing, and they'll walk away with, 10 to $20 billion, whatever it is, and I mean, that's that, right? And they'll be whatever ostracized in the, by I don't know who, like who gives a shit? Like they're still billionaires, right? Like so, they have the respects that billionaires get. But anyways, whenever I see a show like this, and the premise was they're going to release the documents, and that's the whole, like it's built around that idea, and I'm like, well, no one gives a shit about that, they might pay you off, and they might, want the documents back. They might want to buy silence just in case, but I think the powers that be now know what I know, because if I know it, they know it, right? That they can pretty much get away with anything, and there's nothing people can do about it. Until, like, you push people in their lifestyle. You take away electricity, you take away their internet, you take away food, gas, things like this. Many people have been pacified just to march into the, they're just broken, weak people. They'll march into the FEMA camps because they'll run to the FEMA camps because they'll just, oh, you guys got food? Oh, the government will take care of us or whatever it is. So, you'll see how this stuff plays out. But there's no, and like I said, there's no reversing the system. Like, it isn't that they're just being dicks and they want to hurt everybody. They want to depopulate the world. They run the risk of losing their own power. Like, they're just like everybody else, the people that control the system. They like it the way it is, right? They want to keep it the way it is. They want more. Like, that's their whole thing. They want more. But, they run the risk of losing complete power and control. And they know it's coming. Like, at some level, they know they're fucked, right? And so this, that there's divine accountability. Divine accountability comes in many shapes and forms, and it takes place over lifetimes, over eternity. And so you make mistakes, you're going to pay for them. You're going to have to, there's consequences for them, right? There's consequences for making the bad decisions and doing the wrong thing. And eventually, people who are in power, no matter how long they're in power, get disempowered. It's always happened. So that's, like, everybody kind of, can understand that. But in terms of accountability in the system, there is none, and they know it. And so it doesn't matter. Like, the truth community isn't going to fix the system or change the system. It's just giving information that's useful to people and making your own personal decision, and then finding something beyond the American dream, something beyond the materialistic system to live for, some spiritual goal, some goal that's, soul-based and not based in a system that's crumbling around us all. But, most people can't deal with that. So that's just, that is whatever it is. There was only one comment I wanted to address just because I saw this comment on my phone, and it's a regular commenter, a person who regularly comments. It's not a hostile comment or anything like that. It's just, Paul, Erika is not tall. She claims she is 5'6", so she's probably 5'5". Thanks for the Christmas show. I'm not sure why this matters, but like, she's a fucking horrible grifting person, but people have their thing. I looked it up and it said she was 5'8" from a beauty contest thing, which, they're big in measurements there. I think they're fairly accurate, right? They probably measure all the girls. But she always looks taller than the rest of the girls or the rest of the people she's with. She was much taller than Nicki Minaj, who's at least 5'1", 5'2". She's, and she looks like a big girl. Like, she's kind of puffing out now. She gets older, but you see her in pictures, she's usually fairly tall. But who knows? Like, they lie about everything, and, that's the least of her, like, weird shit. If she's lying about her height, right? There's other bigger problems that foot. Anyway, so day after Christmas, and we're heading to the new year. I'm getting ready to do my New Year video and all that stuff. And so only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely pointing for the apocalypse and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.